of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
After 2 late nights in a row, the Royals could use a pick-me-up today, and they hope that will be Luke Hochevar, coming off his best start of the year. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you on School Day at the K. School kids will fill up Kauffman Stadium for Game 2 with the Royals and the Orioles. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. I'm Ryan Lefevre. The Royals got 7 great innings from Felipe Paulino last night. He did not get the win. They got 7 great innings from Luke Hochevar on Saturday against the White Sox.
Ryan, he's having an opportunity today to build on that last game, build on that game that he played last Saturday against the White Sox. He did a nice job of really keeping things simple. He didn't get too far ahead of himself. He used both sides of the plate very, very effectively. We'll need to do that today. We know he's been a suspect for the large innings at times during his career. He needs to avoid those large innings. In order to do that, again, he's got to keep it simple, use both sides of the plate.
And the Royals avoided allowing a big inning last night, but they gave up a big hit. Adam Jones with a long home run to left field in the 15th. That was the game winner. We'll be right back. Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. The Royals made another roster move involving a couple of pitchers. Joel will cover that when we come back.
Our Mazda replay takes a look at some exciting action from last night. Ninth inning, J.J. Hardy hit play at the plate, and this would tie the game. A bang-bang call might have been out. That would have changed things. And then Mike Moustakas nearly going deep in the 11th. But it was the Royals losing. Nate Adcock pitching very well, but giving up a home run in the 15th. And the Royals making a roster move today, sending both Nate Adcock and Vin Mazzaro back to AAA Omaha, calling up Lewis Coleman and Everett Teaford. The thinking is this: both going down not because of performance, but circumstances. And now Mazzaro, who was supposed to at least be a probable to start on Sunday, that start will now potentially go to Teaford. But it could all change if those guys are needed out of the bullpen. We do know this. Luke Hochhaber's on the hill. Ryan has the call next.
Definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And we have been presented with a beautiful day and a quick turnaround for the Royals and the Orioles after a 15-inning game last night. And here's the Baltimore Orioles lineup as they continue to lead the American League East. Tampa Bay also won last night, so the Orioles and Rays are tied for first place. Changes today: Ryan Flaherty will be at third base, Wilson Betemit will be the designated hitter, and Luis Exposito will be the catcher. They'll be facing right-hander Luke Hochhaber. Last year he had a very good start against the Orioles. That was on August 3rd, allowing just one earned run in 7 1/3 innings. And he had a bad start against the Orioles when he allowed 7 earned runs in 7 innings. So he pitched deep in both of those two games, and the Royals are hoping that he pitches deep this afternoon.
Yeah, Ryan, he's hopeful to repeat his performance from last Saturday where he went 7 innings in Chicago. His record now even, but he's got a high ERA at 7.20.
Xavier Avery, Royals got their first look at him last night. A speedy leadoff man and left fielder, and he had a couple of hits. And that's up the middle. Falou will have to hurry and throws out Avery, one away. Well, today is school day at the K, and the Fox 4 meteorology team was here presenting the kids with some weather demonstrations, and there's a familiar face. Carly Ritter is going to give us A little update on the weather, and not to put you on the spot, Carly, but how about a weekend forecast?
You know, the weekend's going to be split, you guys. First half looks fabulous. It'll be a little bit warmer than what we're experiencing right now, mid-upper 80s. Second half, we'll have a little bit of rain around. Not a complete washout for your Sunday, but that's going to cool us down just a bit. We'll call it mid-upper 70s for Sunday. So overall, not a bad weekend.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks for spending some time with us.
All right, guys.
Time and temp for today, presented by the parking spot at KCI. 1 ball, 1 strike on J.J. Hardy. Hardy had the game-tying hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning against Jonathan Broxton last night, as the Orioles scored 2 in the 9th to tie it at 3, and then they won in the 15th on the Adam Jones home run. 2 hops to Moustakas and 2 outs. And let's take a look at the Royals defensively this afternoon, presented by Ford.
Have a little bit different look today. Same in the outfield today, but we got Irving Falou making first start at second base today. So nice to see him. And Humberto Quintero, after 15 innings behind the plate last night, back again catching Luke Hochhafer.
Good sign for Luke with that wind blowing out to left field and all the home runs that the Orioles have hit this year, that he's got 2 ground ball outs. One ball, 1 strike to Nick Markakis. Drove in a run for the Orioles when they scored in the 8th. That made it a 2-1 Royals lead. Royals got a run in the bottom of the 8th and took the 3-1 lead into the 9th. 2-1.
Ryan, I talked with Humberto Quintero earlier today about the reasons for Luke's success last weekend against the White Sox, and he said really did a nice job on climbing the ladder when he got in counts where he could climb the ladder, but he used both sides of the plate much more effectively than before.
Had a little bit of trouble, not much, but early in the game against Chicago on Saturday. Now the Royals gave him a 3-0 lead in the first inning, but he had some shaky moments in the first 3, was behind a few times, but didn't make any big mistakes. And when he hit his stride, he really hit his stride. He retired 11 in a row, and at one point 14 out of 15.
Early runs were a great recipe for success for a starting pitcher.
A ground ball again. This one goes into right center field. So Markakis is at first with 2 outs.
Not a bad pitch here. Kept the ball down. Had some life to it. Nice job by Markakis handling it well.
And now Adam Jones, who was 0 for 6 in the game when he homered in the 15th inning against Nate Adcock, an impressive home run right in front of the Royals Hall of Fame out in left field. It was his 12th home run of the year. He has an 8-game hitting streak right now. And going back to last year, Adam Jones has a 12-game hitting streak against the Royals. Two and 0.
You have to go all the way back to Mark McGwire's days before you can find a hitter who's hit extra inning home runs after the 15th inning twice in a season. He's done it twice this year.
And twice by May the 16th. Slider. Jones couldn't make contact. 2-1. Of his 12 home runs, Adam Jones, 9 of those have either tied the game or given the Orioles the lead. So he's been both productive and he's been clutch.
The Orioles certainly like when he hits a home run, as they are 11-1 in those games, so important to keep him at bay today.
And again, it's a slider, and Jones couldn't resist. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Luke Hochevar has 3 wins this year. He has not won at Kauffman Stadium yet. Markakis takes off, and Jones grounds it foul. Orioles hardly ever run. They've played 38 games, and they have 11 stolen bases. That's last in the league. They have also been thrown out 11 times. So they're only successful half the time.
And we saw one of those last night at third base when Nick Markakis attempted to steal third on probably a not great decision on his part.
Markakis runs again, and Jones takes ball 4. And now 2 on for Wilson Betemit, who homered in that 2-run 9th inning last night. His home run made it 3-2 Royals. And then it was Hardy who tied the game at 3 with a single. Wilson Betemit with the Royals in all of 2010 and most of last year. You talk about guys who are late bloomers. Betemit's been around for a long time. He's only 30 years old. He got to the big leagues as a 19-year-old with the Atlanta Braves in 2001. So he's been around a long time, but only 30.
Right, he's wearing a lot of uniforms, but still got a lot of good baseball left in him.
Once projected to be a middle of the order type hitter with Atlanta, number 3 type of a hitter, meaning that he could drive in runs, he could score runs, and at one time was a shortstop. Hochevar's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Guys like Wilson Betemit always find a way to find an opportunity or a job. Class guy, can handle the bat well. True professional.
Two and 2. And now Quintero is going to go out and have a word with Luke.
Talked a little earlier about Luke Hochevar wanting to climb the ladder. He did that very effectively. That's something that's difficult for a pitcher to do, to intentionally throw a ball up above the strike zone or up where it looks like the hitter may want to take a swing at it, because if it's too high, like the last pitch we saw, was the hitter's not going to offer at it. I know it was very difficult for me, a pitcher who really tried to concentrate on the bottom part of the strike zone. Hard to elevate at times.
Struck him out with a cut fastball. The Orioles get a single and a walk, but they are scoreless against Hochevar in the first. Orioles with this lineup. Johnny Giavotella will DH, and he will bat second. Billy Butler will be at first base today. Irving Falou at second base, and even though he was behind the plate for 15 innings last night, Humberto Quintero is back of the dish for Luke Hochevar. And here is 25-year-old Brian Mattis. The Royals have only seen him once, and that was 2 seasons ago.
Well, he's a #1 draft choice of the Orioles back in 2008, and he's really on a fast track to the big leagues. They're looking for big things from him, but so far he has not really provided that consistency that they're looking for from the big left-hander.
And big as in 6'5", 190 pounds. And in that 2008 draft, he was taken 4th overall, 1 pick after Eric Hosmer. Ball 1 to Gerard Dyson on base a couple more times last night with a base hit and a walk. So 15 times Dyson has been on base in the Royals' last 6 games. On base percentage of .375. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is his first at bat against Mattis.
Mattis has a nice fastball, but he'll turn it over and sink it. Sometimes sinker around the high 80s, low 90s, but he can climb up into the mid to upper 90s at times with his fastball, so he's got good stuff. Look for him to throw the changeup to right-handers as the out pitch and the curveball to the left-handers as the out pitch.
Fastball is slap foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mattis is a Colorado native, just like Royals starting pitcher Luke Hochevar, but he grew up in Arizona. He wears the number 17 because his favorite team was the Diamondbacks and his favorite player was Mark Grace. And we'll be seeing Mark Grace this weekend with the Diamondbacks coming to town after playing for Arizona at the end of his career. Mark Grace, now a longtime television announcer of the D-backs. Back to Mattis. 1 down in the bottom of the first, and now Ford will give us a look at the Orioles defensively.
Well, the Orioles are known for their defense up the middle, starting with Adam Jones out in center field. Their middle infielders are very solid with Hardy and Andino. Today, you're not going to see Matt Wieters behind the plate. Luis Esposito will take his slot behind the plate.
Ball 1 to Johnny Giavotella, who came on late last night. Pinch hitter in the 10th inning. Lined to center field in that at bat, and then grounded out and singled in his final 2 at bats. Johnny batting in the number 2 position, and when it was believed going into spring training that he would be the Royals' opening day second baseman, the thinking was that he would bat second, where he has batted most of his minor league career. A good bat control guy, good hit and run, bunt candidate, very good at hitting the ball the other way. That pitch got away from Mattis. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, Johnny, I think obviously the defense is an issue that they wanted him to work on. He's taken that challenge, and he feels very confident about his defense. Now, we're seeing as a designated hitter today, but I think he really feels confident about the improvements he's made defensively.
2 balls, 2 strikes. School day at the K, the largest educational field trip in Kansas City of the year. So the kids getting weather demonstrations from the Fox 4 weather team before the game. They had skydivers parachuting onto the field. Fouled away by Giavotella. One guy ended up in the seats, caught a downdraft as he was parachuting past the Royals Hall of Fame. Thankfully he's okay. And then all the kids get to stick around and watch the game.
That was a lesson in itself in, I guess, aerodynamics. Up
the right field line, and Markakis right on the line. They'll call it a foul ball catch, and there are 2 outs. The Fan of the Game sweepstakes is going on now at Fiat of Olathe, and you can win a new Fiat 500 Pop. Finalists for the grand prize drawing will be announced here on Fox Sports Kansas City, and in July, 1 fan will win the Fiat 500 Pop. Look for rules and enter now at Fiat of Olathe. Billy Butler with 2 outs, nobody on, and Mattis pitches him inside, ball 1. Ed Yost saying before the game today that Billy Butler would not only play first base today, but most likely tomorrow as well, as Joe Saunders, a tough left-hand pitcher, will be starting for Arizona. Line to left, and Avery is there to make the catch. And Mattis gets Dyson, Giavotella, and Butler in the first. Already fired up because they're right on the edge of summer vacation, and today they'll enjoy the Royals and the Orioles as Chris Davis will step in against Luke Hochevar. Luke allowed a 2-out single and a walk in the first inning, but then struck out Wilson Betemit. Davis had 2 hits last night, a pair of singles, and then came out in the 9th inning for a pinch runner. Thankfully, that bat will stay out of the crowd as Hochevar destroys Davis's bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, ladies, we hope you'll come out to the ballpark on Friday, June 1st. It's our annual Girls Night Out presented by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. And the first 10,000 ladies will receive a Royals Sun hat. Gates will open at 4:30 for pregame activities in the outfield experience, such as a fashion show by Macy's, dueling pianos, cooking demos, fragrance samples, and much more. The night will benefit the American Heart Association. Two and one on Chris Davis.
And we saw that pitch. He's attempting to climb the ladder again.
And again, pitching him inside. It's 3-1. That was the most common criticism of Hochevar's 2 starts before his last one against Detroit and the Yankees. Not enough fastballs inside. Too many out over the plate like that one, and Davis strokes it into center field for a leadoff single.
He did such a nice job really after the All-Star break last year of establishing inside that the inside part of the plate is his, and he did a nice job. Had great results from it. Now we're seeing attempts to go inside. He didn't get the calls on the inside, didn't get the swings. This one drifts back out. We see what happens. Robert Andino is hitting 5 straight, batting .280.
1 for 6 last night. The Royals struck him out 3 times. And he goes the other way. Frank Coor runs it down. Davis is back to first. 1 out. You know, the thing that comes up from time to time with Luke Hochevar is exactly what type of pitcher is he? He could be a sinker ball pitcher, a contact pitcher if he wanted. He could be a power pitcher if he wanted. And I've told the story before, but the best illustration for me was a stretch of games in 2009. Remember, he had that complete game against the Reds. He had 80 pitches for a complete game, and then about a month and a half later, he struck out 13 against the Texas Rangers. So
yeah,
he could be either or.
I think that's the real question mark with Luke is which guy's going to show up on any given day. And as long as one of those 2 guys show up, everything's good. But so far we've seen he's kind of reverted back to having those big innings and unable to really limit the damage when things start going haywire for him.
Now that was an interesting appeal. The appeal went to the second base umpire, who is Angel Hernandez. We're working with a 3-man umpiring crew today. Ed Rapuano, who was the third base umpire last night, and he's the crew chief. He had to leave before the game today because of a family situation. So that appeal went up the middle and not down the third base line.
I think the pitcher would like that because he's going to get a better look. He's going to get that kind of look the pitcher gets. I always thought, well, why don't you appeal to the guy that sees it from straight back? But they always go down the lines.
So there's the angle that Angel Hernandez has way in on the infield in between the mound and second base. Almost like the football umpire, literally. The one guy in the crew is considered an umpire in football. That's the guy who's right there with the linebackers.
Right, I was thrown out of one game in my career, and it was actually a spring training game, and I asked for an appeal, and they only had umpires at first and third, so they wouldn't give me an appeal, and I made a comment, was ejected from the game as a result.
You?
Yes.
Not Monty.
Well, it wasn't pretty, Ryan. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But
so
I will
this
say,
must have been some spring training game if you were fired up about that.
It was about 2 batters into my to my game, and I didn't get my work in.
That's a strikeout and a double play. Nice play by Escobar to apply the tag on Davis, and that puts an end to the Orioles' half of the second inning. Here's our first Mazda replay of today, and the Royals get a double play in the top of the second.
Yeah, Humberto Quintero, nice job completing the double play after the strikeout to Ryan Flaherty. Now we might have to get some clarification here from the truck, because
one of our choices in the Fox Hot Watch was that Escobar would make a great play on defense. Wasn't that one of the choices?
It wasn't.
Was that the one that you took?
That looked like a great play to me, covering second base.
I'll bet it did.
You know, most shortstops don't make that play.
So then you would have to then say it was a great play.
One of few who can make it. I think it's great.
Alex thinking about laying one down. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 hits last night. And the 2 hits right after he had been 3 for his previous 25. Had an RBI double in the 8th inning, which gave the Royals a 3-1 lead. Down to the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Billy Butler, Alex Gordon, and Jeff Francoeur, the 3, 4, 5 hitters, are the only hitters who have seen Brian Mattis before today. Mentioned the Royals faced Mattis back in 2010, and the Royals had a good game against him. Mattis didn't get out of the 4th inning. He walked 4 and gave up 5 runs in 3 1/3. Andino with the sunglasses on brings it down. 1 out in the 2nd inning as we bring in Joe Goldberg.
Thanks, Ryan. You mentioned Eric Hosmer off today, possibly tomorrow against back-to-back lefties. Ned Yost saying this morning about Eric, he knows how to hit, but sometimes the brain gets in the way, and he's had results, but they're not showing. Now, the last week when they gave him a day off, he took about 300 swings in the cage working on situations. They were hoping that today he wouldn't take any swings at all. Just take a mental break today and possibly tomorrow and try to get things right.
All right, thanks, Joel. As Francoeur hits it back to Mattis. Mattis has retired the first 5. You know, Eric Hosmer, I wonder how he would, this is totally hypothetical, of course, but, you know, how he would feel about his season if he didn't have to look up on the scoreboard and see 172 or wherever he is right now.
Yeah, it's a tough thing for, I mean, player, you're always aware of your numbers, regardless of they're good numbers or bad numbers. You're always aware of them. When they're bad, you're always trying to obviously make improvements in those numbers. We have enough season left where Eric Hosmer can make up a lot of ground. We know he's a great athlete. We saw last year that he has a great ability to play even at this level. So it's a matter of time, but you have to, at some point, put the bad behind you and just move forward. Forget about what you've done up to that point.
Well, here's a player with some very good numbers. Mike Moustakas, who's still hitting over 300. Part of our league leaders today, brought to you by your Kansas City Toyota dealers. Longest active streak of reaching base by way of a walk, a hit, or hit by a pitch. And Moustakas has the longest current streak at 23 straight games. 1 for 6 last night. That's better than Josh Hamilton, Dustin Pedroia, Robinson Cano, and Dustin Ackley. Three and 1.
Well, Mike Moustakas is one of 3 left-handers in the lineup today against Mattis, and lefties are only hitting 192 against Mattis. In fact, he's only faced 8 different left-handed batters all season long, so right-handers much higher level of success.
That ball was hit down around the end of the bat and just flamed out after it passed the pitcher's mound. Brian Mattis has faced 6 Royals and retired all 6. shirts, long sleeve shirt, and then that fellow is using a second shirt for some shade, which is a good idea today on a very bright day in Kansas City. And you'll listen to his Grateful Dead CDs on the way home.
In the air conditioner.
One and two from Hochevar to Luis Esposito. Did not play last night. Matt Wieters caught 15 innings. Esposito just 1 out of 10 to begin the year. And now 1 out of 11 as Hochevar strikes out his third. Well, the Orioles trying to turn things around just like the Royals. They've had 14 consecutive losing seasons. And does it have something to do with their logo? Here was their record from 1966 to 1989 when they had the old bird logo with the cap. And then they went away from that for several years, moving into the new ballpark, Camden Yards, or the then new ballpark. And now they have recently gone back to the bird logo. Now, Jeff Montgomery will tell you that the bird logo works.
Well, I'm a little partial to that bird logo, as my Little League team was the Orioles, and in the late 60s, early 70s, we wore exactly that same hat. So we were successful. We won some championships with that. So obviously the Baltimore Orioles thinking the same way.
Avery with a little half swing, grounder back to Hochevar, 2 up and 2 down.
Think back to the days of Brooks Robinson, Hall of Famer, the great Jim Palmer here, Orioles broadcaster, and Frank Robinson, another guy just special Oriole.
Two down to J.J. Hardy. Now, a story that is kind of connected to that. Remember when Tampa Bay came into the big leagues? They were the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They changed their name and their uniforms in 2007. And I remember Joe Madden, who was just getting started as the Rays manager, thought that that had a little bit to do with their turnaround, because no longer were they the same old lousy Devil Rays. They had a new uniform, they had a new look, and it gave the players a bounce to their step, a little bit of a swagger. And 1 year after they changed the name, of course they had a lot of talent on their team, but all of a sudden the Tampa Bay Rays were in the World Series.
Yeah, fresh start, new look, new logo. Sometimes a change is good, and unfortunately for the Kansas City Royals, the uniform has been essentially the same for years, since the inception, so you can't really change the KC on the hat too much. I do remember, however, we wore gray hats on the road one year, and they were the ugliest hats I think I've ever seen. Gray hats with gray unis, top, bottom. It was not a good look.
Yeah. Sounds horrible just describing it. Moustakis to the grass, throws on the run and throws a strike over to Billy Butler. To the bottom of the third, no score. Top can for a smoother pour. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Beautiful day in Kansas City. It's school day at the K. Kids of all ages enjoying weather demonstrations by the Fox 4 weather team before the game, and now the kids sticking around for the finale of a short series. Baltimore winning last night in 15 innings. So that snapped the Royals' 4-game winning streak. That's a heck of a camera.
I hope he has a license for that thing.
Yeah. Mattis got a glove on it, but that's all. And that's how the Royals get their first base runner.
We'll go take a little look at the glove work here for Brian Mattis. He's got actually a Brady Anderson glove on, so I think it's a little more equipped for the outfield than trying to field a ball back up the middle for a pitcher.
That might be a tribute to Brady Anderson. Last year in spring training, the Orioles were not thrilled with the condition, physical condition, that Brian Mattis was in when he arrived. And Mattis really struggled last year. The Orioles had high hopes for him, hoping he'd be their number 2 starter, and he had an ERA of about 10.7. So he worked out with Brady Anderson during this past offseason. Brady Anderson, when he was with the Orioles, a good player, good hitter, good outfielder, and was a fitness fanatic. If his body fat was 2%, I'd be shocked.
He was a lot like Alex Gordon. He was a guy that just couldn't really tell a lot when he was in the field doing his thing, but once you would see him take his shirt off, just ripped. A guy that well put together.
Throw to first, almost ended up in right field. Davis able to get some leather on it.
I remember Brady Anderson coming into the '93 season, I believe it was, hadn't had a lot of home runs, but in '93 I believe he hit 50+ home runs, so just a big turnaround. A lot of that was because he started working out.
And hitting at a very hitter-friendly ballpark, especially right field at Camden Yards. Falou hits it off the end of the bat, and foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mattis, 2 years ago, had a strong finish to the year. That was 2010. He went 10-12, but inside of that, he was 6-0 in his final 6 decisions. So he was the number 2 starter at the beginning of last year, but 1-9 with a 10.69 earned run average. And that ERA was the highest of any pitcher in the major leagues, with at least 40 innings pitched.
A guy that has certainly not reached the potential that the Baltimore Orioles had high hopes for at this stage in his career.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Irving Falou, who gets to start at second base today with the lefty on the mound. And Chris Getz, who started at second last night, had to leave the game early after colliding with Chris Davis at first. He had a bruise to his left side, his rib cage. And Falou lines it to center field. So he has 9 hits and 21 at-bats since being called up. And the Royals have 2 on with nobody out.
Talking about taking advantage of an opportunity, Irving Falou is doing everything, doing it with the glove, doing it with the bat. Just very excited about the opportunity to contribute at the major league level finally after all the years spent in the minor leagues.
And some guys get to their peak as far as ability in their mid-20s, early 20s. And that wasn't the case for Irving Falou, and his skills have just gradually improved year after year. And now here he is as the Orioles are ready for a bunt with Quintero at the plate, but he takes high for ball 1. Quintero had a 2-run single in last night's game.
Irving Falou at 28 years old, that's really about the age when I felt like I had reached my peak. So a lot of players do hit it at that stage.
1-1 on Quintero. I asked General Manager Dayton Moore, and Dayton's always honest in assessing players, you know, where has Irving Falou been short? And he said there really wasn't one department where he was short. There were just guys in front of him, and he never, maybe what he was short on was just getting an opportunity. Center field, Jones is back, and it's over his head. Escobar will score. They're going to wave home Falou, and he will beat the throw, and Quintero, with the ball getting away from Exposito, will go to third base.
Adam Jones maybe not respecting the pop from Humberto Quintero at this stage, but he's playing a little shallow, not able to get back on this ball, just out of his reach, goes all the way to the fence. Both runners going to score easily. Got the throw back in, a little miscue here on the throw and the cutoff. Quintero has a nice little secondary here when he sees the ball get back to the screen, able to take third base.
So that's something that Adam Jones probably didn't factor in as he was playing shallow. That strong wind out of the south is going to help anything from center field all the way into the left field corner, anything in the air.
And I've seen a lot of the outfielders coming in. Remember Curtis Granderson was playing shallow seemingly every game when the Yankees were in town. But a lot of balls have gotten over the outfielder's head, so it's kind of surprising that they're not at least factoring in how this ballpark's playing during this time of day.
Dyson grounded back to Mattis. Still nobody out, so a well-placed fly ball or ground out would get another run to the plate. Mattis opened the game by knocking down the first 6 Royals. And then Escobar with the infield single. Falou single to center. And Quintero with the 2-run double. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes. There was no error, by the way, with Quintero going to third base. However, I think if Exposito catches that throw from the outfield, the Orioles get Quintero at third. Dyson strikes out, so unable to get a runner home from third with nobody out. And that's Mattis' first strikeout today.
Yeah, there's a curveball we were talking about earlier. That's kind of his put-away pitch against left-handed batters.
And now Johnny Giavotella, and this is what we were talking about when he batted in the first inning, being a good bat control guy as the number 2 hitter. The Royals would love, Johnny would love a base hit and an RBI, but at the bare minimum, just get the ball in play somewhere that will get Quintero in from third base. A little bit inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
A nice situation for Johnny Giavotella to be hitting in. Only got 2 hits since his recall from Omaha, but here all you have to do is put it in play. You're going to drive a run in. You don't need a base hit, so a lot easier task ahead of him.
And there's a base hit to right field. Giavotella drives in his third. Quintero comes to the plate. It is 3-0 Royals in the third inning.
Johnny, smart hitter, waits back, doesn't try to pull this ball. Ball's outside, just goes the other way with it. Really nice. Drives in the 3rd run of the game with a single.
Rick Adair, the Orioles pitching coach, out to have a chat with Ryan Mattis, who was just rolling along in the first 2 innings. Retired the first 6 Royals, no walks, no strikeout in those first 2, so everything in play using his defense. And now 3 runs, 4 hits in the 3rd inning. Don't forget, tomorrow night the Diamondbacks are in town for a 3-game interleague series, and it's Buck Night and Fireworks Friday. Hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks are just $1. And then after the game, the Friday Night Fireworks presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Billy Butler takes ball 1. Billy hit the daylights out of a Ryan Mattis pitch in the first inning, but lined to Avery in left field. ball, 1 strike.
Mentioned it's a beautiful day, and we know that there are over 10,000 students here for a school day at the K, but I'm looking at the stands today, a lot of people in the seats. Beautiful day for baseball.
Up the middle, Billy Butler has his first hit. Giavotella will hold at second. And that's 5 hits in the inning for the Royals.
Here's Billy doing what Billy does. Line to line. To give you the middle, take the middle.
That's what Billy do.
That's what Billy do. Big Bill, that's what Big Bill does.
Big Bill, how about Ned Yost breaking that out? Maybe that was a clubhouse nickname we weren't aware of. But gone is country breakfast and in is Big Bill. Alex Gordon popped out to second base his first time. No balls and 2 strikes, and now it's a 25 pitch inning for Mattis. Still 0-2. 25 pitches for Mattis to get through the first 2 innings combined, and now 26 in the third, and he's only gotten 1 out. The Royals have scored 3. Quintero has driven in 2. Giavotella has driven in 1. And the battle continues. Here's our Time Warner pitch speed comparison. Mattis and Hochevar. 94 for Mattis, 95 for Luke. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Giavotella is the runner at second. Butler is at first. And Alex pops it up into shallow left. Avery makes the play, 2 outs. And now Mattis will get Jeff Francoeur, who was out on a comebacker to Mattis in the second inning. Francoeur is now 1 out of 4 against Mattis, and the 1 hit was a home run. Third ball for a strike. '30th pitch of the inning. 1 ball, 1 strike to Francoeur. Seems that Mattis is going with more curveballs after the visit from pitching coach Rick Adair.
Well, that's really his best pitch, and oftentimes it's a pitch he thinks about using more to the left-handers. He got a good changeup he'll use a lot against right-handed pitcher or right-handed batters, but sometimes you got to go a little against. If it's not working, you got to change up, and that's what he's attempting to do here.
Grounded to third, and Flaherty will go to the bag and force out Giavotella. Royals come up with 3, and for the second game in a row, Quintero has a 2-run hit. Giavotella adds an RBI single. Royals lead 3-0. 3-0 lead was Saturday in Chicago, and he ended up pitching 7 shutout innings, allowing only 3 hits. And it was about this time on Saturday that Hochevar got on a roll and retired 11 in a row and 14 out of 15. Gave up a couple of base runners in the first, no runs. A leadoff single in the second, no runs. 1, 2, 3 in the third, and now Markakis has another base hit. Takes an aggressive turn around first. So Markakis has 2 of the 3 Orioles hits today. Don't forget, parents, with the summer coming up, to sign up your kids for Sluggers Blue Crew, presented by U.S. Toy. The kids will be part of the fun all year long, as they will receive a batting practice jersey, a backpack, a water bottle, ticket vouchers, front of the line access for every Sunday fun run. That's just as valuable to the parents as it is the kids. And all of that for just $20. Join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew.
Sounds like first class treatment.
I can almost hear that being a negotiation of the parents. You know, the kids, Royals trying to get the kids to sign up for a Blue Crew, and Royals say, well, they're going to get a batting practice jersey. I mean, that's worth $20, if not more, right there. They're going to get a backpack, a nice little school theme. They're going to get a water bottle, so when they're here at the ballpark, those kids using neither the jersey or the backpack. Free tickets, the parents love that, but then you could hear the parents saying, you know what I'd really like is if we go to that fun run thing that we're not in the back of the line. Is there any way you could throw in us getting to the front of the line? And that was it. That was the deal right there. That was the tipping point. Good pitch inside to Adam Jones. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Joel and I will be on out in Rivals on Sunday afternoons doing the post-game show, and we see all the kids lined up doing it. And it is an extremely long line, so if you want to beat that line, be a member.
Yeah, you just pull out your Blue Crew pass, wink at everybody as you walk to the front of the line. Big pitch here. 3-1 to Jones, and twice back in the first inning, Hochevar got Jones to swing at a slider in a hitter's count. And that was more of a cut fastball, and it's fouled away.
With a 3-run lead, you obviously don't want to give them base runners, but he's a guy that you just can't give into. And I like Loke's approach to keep the ball away from him. If he's going to do damage, make him do the damage away. Very big inning for Luke. After you score 3 runs, you definitely want to get your team back in a dugout, score some more for you.
Jones ended up walking when he faced Hochevar in the first. Markakis runs, and Jones blasts it to center field. Dyson is back at the wall, and Adam Jones hits another home run for Baltimore. And this home run makes it a 1-run game.
Jones gets great extension. This pitch is actually on the outside part of the plate, but he goes and gets it. He's got those long arms. He's able to go out and bring that ball back into the ballpark.
"13 home runs for Adam Jones and a 9-game hitting streak, and Wilson Betemit with that swing trying to make it back-to-back home runs. Hochevar struck Betemit out with a good cut fastball in the first inning. It's only the 3rd home run allowed by Luke Hochevar. And now Betemit the other way, and remember the win. If Betemit didn't get enough of it, he did drive Dyson to the warning track, and that's the first out.
We're accustomed to seeing home runs from the Orioles, but so many of them have been solo shots, and this one by Adam Jones, a two-run shot.
The specific numbers 61 home runs now for the Orioles with the Jones home run, and 40 of those solo. Fouled away by Chris Davis. Good play by the ball boy, playing the angle off the padded barrier wall. Davis singled to center in the second inning. 0-2.
The home run by Adam Jones carried 411 feet. Last night's home run 431 feet. So didn't get as much of it today, but counts twice as much.
Still 0-2. Well, everyone is waiting for the Orioles to come back to earth, and especially in the division that includes Tampa Bay, New York, Toronto. Looks like Boston's going to have a down year, but with a player like Adam Jones getting the hits he's been getting, and with the bullpen pitching the way they've pitched, and sometimes you just have to give credit to the team that's making plays happen. I mean, we could easily blame Jonathan Broxton for a blown save last night, and that's fair criticism. Broxton will take it. He's a big boy. And you could criticize Luke Hochevar for making a mistake to Adam Jones, but then you're taking away from what the Orioles are doing, and they're 10 games above 500, and we're almost to the quarter pole of the season.
And again, we talked about it last night. They get contribution from their entire lineup. They have the ability to hit the long ball. They also have had a solid pitching staff. That's the one thing that has really been absent the Baltimore Orioles all these years when they've been away, but their starting pitching has been good. A nice pitch up and in.
Last night, Baltimore didn't do anything on offense, but scored when it counted, getting 1 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, and then getting 3 today in the 4th, right after the Royals come up with 3 runs. Falou dives. It's off of his glove, and Davis is aboard with a 1-out single. He's 2 for 2. Time for our Sprint You Call It question for today. Most important start recently. Felipe Paulino last night ended up with a no decision. Bruce Chen with that win at Texas. Vin Mazzaro followed Bruce Chen with a win. Or was it Luke Hochevar after a couple of bad starts against the Tigers and the Yankees, throwing 7 scoreless innings against the White Sox? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, A, B, C, or D. Do you have one in mind?
I do. If I were texting in right now, I would text B for Bruce Chen. I thought that was a very, very important start going into Texas, a team that is very likely at this time the best team in the American League, and Bruce Chen really made it look easy that night.
I will agree with you. I set the tone in that series. Chance for 2. Escobar, Falou, Butler off the bag, but applies the tag on Andino. So that helps out Luke Hochevar, the Royals' second double play of the game, but the Orioles get 2 in the 4th. Midwest Ford dealer. By Panera Bread, 23 KC Metro locations and now open in Brookside. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. And by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Bright sunny day at Kauffman Stadium and a beautiful weather weekend just around the corner. Carly Ritter of the Fox 4 weather team was out here for school day at the K, and she gave us a live weekend weather forecast in the first inning. Mike Moustakas flies to center field. He is 0 for 2. During that weekend series with Arizona on Saturday, the first 10,000 fans will receive a 2012 All-Star Garden Gnome presented by Pepsi. The gates will open at 4:30. The first pitch is at 6:15. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Ryan Mattis retired the first 6 Royals. And then in the third inning got into trouble as he allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. Quintero drove in 2. Giavotella 1. And then gets his first out of the fourth on 1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. He led off the third inning with an infield base hit off of Brian Mattis' glove and then scored on the Quintero double. 1-2. Up the middle again. Andino backhands, jumps, throws too late, and Escobar has another infield single.
First at bat at work for Alcides Escobar up the middle. Mattis tries to get his glove on the first one, lets that one go. Hopefully Robert Andino was able to make the play, but speedy Alcides Escobar beats it out.
And now that speed at first base, and he leads the Royals with 7 stolen bases. Irving Falou could be a good hit and run candidate. And he's trying to go to the right side and fouls it away. Falou singled and scored in the third inning, so he has a 6-game hitting streak to begin his big league career. And his batting average is .429. That's 9 hits and 21 at bats. And bunting, and he bunted it too hard for a base hit. And he gets Escobar up to second base, and there are 2 outs. He had the right idea if he were to get that ball closer to the mound and pass Mattis.
Yeah, if he gets it more toward second base, then he's got a chance. But here, again, nice easy play. Got a runner in scoring position.
And a guy who's been driving in runs the last 2 games. Berto Quintero last night in a scoreless tie with 2 outs in the 5th inning hit a 2-run single to give the Royals a 2-0 lead. And then today, with runners at first and second and nobody out, doubled to center field, bringing Escobar and Falou home. Hardy charges in and throws in time. That's the inning. 4 innings in the books. Royals lead 3-2. Royals 2 in the fourth. Mike Moustakas so far is 0 for 2 today. He has a streak of 23 consecutive games reaching by way of a hit, a walk, or a hit by pitch. So our AT&T trivia question asks you, who has the longest streak for a Royal in history, reaching with a hit, walk, or being hit by a pitch? Now Monty claims that he saw this recently, so just to be fair, he's not going to participate.
I either saw it or heard it or read it or something very recently, and I just I don't want to give it away.
Well, we might as well start with some of the longest hitting streaks, because there might have been some walks, hit batters on either end of the hitting streaks. George Brett, of course, has the longest hitting streak in Royals history, that magical 1980 year. He had a 30-game hitting streak.
He would be a great guess, but that's not the name I heard.
Jose Offerman, former Royal great, has the second longest hitting streak, 27 in a row. That was in 1998.
The guy I'm thinking was a Royal longer than Jose Offerman.
Okay, the third longest hitting streaks. George Brett had a 25 gamer in 83. Mike Sweeney had 25 in 1999. Hochevar has his fourth strikeout as he gets Flaherty on strikes for the second time.
Yeah, attack, attack, attack. Really nice pitch. Got a call on a pitch away.
Luis Exposito struck out looking in the third. Orioles got a 2-run home run from Adam Jones in the fourth inning to make it a 1-run game. Moustakas, good play, sets his feet, and again Butler comes off the bag to help him out. 2 away.
Nice play by Moose, moving to his left, and Billy Butler looks like he's done this before at first base. Nice little play by applying the tag. Second out of the inning.
And now Xavier Avery, who is grounded to second and grounded back to Hochevar. Hear a lot of the same things about Avery from the Orioles people that people connected to the Royals say about Gerard Dyson. World-class speed. Just trying to get him to hit the ball on the ground, use his legs. Working on his bunting game to get on base more often. Somebody close to the Orioles told me, I really hope that Avery hits a double or a triple just so you can see him run. To which I said, I hope Gerard Dyson gets a double or a triple so you can see him run. Maybe they'll have a race after the game. Good bounce back for Hochevar as he gets the Orioles in order in the fifth. Fifth inning, and his summer is right around the corner. If you have travel plans, remember, you can take the Royals with you. Just subscribe to MLB.TV today, and you'll see every Royals out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Royals.com to order and get more details. MLB.TV is baseball everywhere. Gerard Dyson, Johnny Giavotella, and Billy Butler against Brian Mattis in the fifth inning. And we were just talking about Xavier Avery, the speedy Orioles left fielder, and the comparisons to Dyson, and talking about how both of them want to improve their bunt game. And there was Dyson thinking about putting one down, and the same thing again, but didn't get it far enough from the mound, and Mattis throws him out. Here's the answer to our AT&T trivia question. Mike Moustakas has a 23-game streak of either a hit, a walk, hit by pitch, or both, or all. What is the Royals' record? Monty?
Well, I'll give you one more hint. He's playing in the American League Central, if it's the guy I think it is. Currently,
Johnny Damon.
I think he might have it.
George Brett.
Oh.
And it was 1980. 51 games wrapped around that 30-game hitting streak. Joe Lavero telling me, our producer, that the major league record, as Giavotella grounds out, Ted Williams, 84 consecutive games back in 1949.
That's an amazing number. That's over half the season.
Yeah. They were playing, what, 145 games back then, I think, or 154 right in there. So, yeah, more than half the season. Billy Butler has line to left, and he is singled against Mattis. Billy at first base today, and it looks like we'll see him at first base again tomorrow with the Diamondbacks starting left-hander Joe Saunders. Billy played in 159 games for the Royals last year, but only 11 of those at first base. And Ned Yost mentioned in spring training, hinted that Billy would be playing more than that this year. One ball, two strikes.
With interleague play coming up, with the possibility of maybe that guy right there, Eric Hosmer, playing some outfield, maybe Billy Butler some more opportunity to play some first base too.
Billy slams it into left center field. That'll be his second hit. Third time he's hit the ball hard against Mattis, and he checks into second base with a 2-out double. His 11th of the year.
This is why I call Billy doubles. He does a great job on finding those gaps. Nice pitch inside part of the plate. Gets extended. Hitting it where it's pitched. Billy very good at that.
RBI chance for Alex Gordon, who has popped out and flied out. And a curveball was a little bit high and inside, ball one.
So far today, the lefties are 0 for 7 against Brian Mattis.
Back with the same pitch. This one is a strike. And that pitch was inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Monty, you mentioned early in the game how tough Mattis is on lefties, and very few lefties had faced him prior to today. But look at the other side of that. Right-handers are just wearing him out. 336. 2-2 on Alex Gordon.
If things don't work out as a starting pitcher, certainly great opportunity as a situational lefty. But I know that the Baltimore Orioles, as their first pick in the 2008 draft, they're not thinking situational left-hander for Brian Mattis.
Alex strikes out looking. Mattis with just his second strikeout. And the Royals leave Butler at second base. Start against the White Sox on Saturday has given up 2 runs in 5 innings so far today, and the Royals with a 1-run lead. Ryan Lefebvre with Jeff Montgomery as Hochevar deals to J.J. Hardy, and 8 of his outs so far have been on the ground.
Yeah, he's been able to find a way to keep the ball in the ballpark, keep the ball on the ground. When that happens, good results occur.
And Hochevar, along with those 8 ground ball outs, has 4 strikeouts. So the Orioles, for the most part, have not been doing what J.J. Hardy just did, and that is hit the ball in the air. Hardy, who had the game-tying hit in the 9th inning last night, is 0 for 3 today. And now Hochevar will try and figure out what to do with Nick Markakis. He has 2 singles, and Markakis scored on the Adam Jones 2-run home run in the 4th. Royals got 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. Quintero driving in 2 more runs. Giavotella also picked up an RBI. And then in the next half inning, Jones hit the home run to center field. One ball, 1 strike. In on his hands and past first base coach, former big league outfielder Wayne Kirby. Who does he remind you of? A coach at the end of your Royals career. At least he reminds me of
Lamar Johnson.
Lamar Johnson. He was a lot of fun, wasn't he?
He was. Excellent hitting coach. Always had a smile on his face.
Still 2-2 on Nick Markakis. 2 hits last night, 2 hits today. Some of his power numbers have tailed off over the past couple of years, but he is a gamer. He is an everyday player. Just missed outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He has played 160 or more games in 4 of the last 5 years. And the 1 year that he didn't reach 160 games, he played 157. Hochevar strikes him out. That's 5 for Luke, and 2 down in the 6th inning. And now, since the Adam Jones home run, Hochevar's retired 7 of the last 8. And here is Jones, who walked in the 1st inning and then homered to center field in the fourth. His 13th home run of the year, his second of the series, and now he has a 13-game hitting streak against the Royals going back to last year. And Luke starts him off with a curveball.
We knew last night when he was 0 for 6 at one point, he was really an accident waiting to happen. And unfortunately, on the Nate Adcock hanging slider, made him pay for it. And then today we see the same thing. Really did a nice job on a cutter away, it looked like, from Luke Hotaver. It's a 2-run shot, so he's a very, very high-quality batter.
Good pitch over the inside, and that's where Luke's been trying to go with Adam Jones all day. Slider locked him up. Hotaver has struck out 6. And now he's retired 8 of the last 9 since the Jones home run in the fourth. The Royals have a 3-2 lead over the Orioles to the bottom of the 6th, trying to split a 2-game series with Baltimore. Our Sonic Slam Inning contestant is Myra Winans from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Myra wins $3,500. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Myra wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Jeff Francoeur, Mike Moustakas, Alcides Escobar coming up. And Brian Mattis drops a changeup for a strike. Francoeur is 0 for 2. 2 groundouts. Going after one in the dirt. No balls, 2 strikes.
Take away the 3rd inning, and Mattis has really looked calm and effective on the mound out there today. Very efficient with pitches. He's at 80 pitches now in this 6th inning.
Fouled away, still 0-2. And he really started to settle in after the visit from Rick Adair in the middle of the Royals' 3-run 3rd inning.
Yeah, he has. He's gotten to that changeup a lot more. It's on a lot more breaking balls.
Still no balls, 2 strikes. Fastball obviously is a power pitch, whether a guy throws hard or not. And I've heard it say that changeups and breaking balls are more of rhythm pitches, and that's a good place to go if a pitcher has lost his rhythm, or maybe his mechanics aren't feeling right. That a pitch like that will just force you to have good rhythm and mechanics.
Right. A lot of times you'll see a pitcher may throw 4 or 5 consecutive balls, and then a catcher will go out and say, hey, let's throw a curveball here. And it really makes you kind of stay back and get back into that rhythm. I remember Tom Gordon, for example, Royals pitcher who had a great curveball, but he had a really good fastball, but he would always throw that fastball, try to overthrow it at times, get the ball up in the strike zone. He would get that curveball, and that would really kind of lock him in.
Mike Moustakas has grounded out and flied out. And the curveball in for a strike. And he's throwing that curveball on the outside part of the plate to the left-hand batters like he just did to Moustakas. And then there's what they call the jelly legger, when they throw the curveball right at the hitter. He thinks it's a fastball inside, flinches, and then the curve breaks over the plate. Near home plate, Exposito makes the play. Moustakas is 0 for 3. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Alcides Escobar coming to the plate. Already 2 hits today, and started looking at some of the numbers as they stand right now. 7 stolen bases, tied for the most by an American League shortstop. 39 hits now, 6th in the American League shortstops. 12 doubles, tied for first. 4th best batting average, and we know the kind of defense he's playing. Might we be seeing an all-star campaign in the making?
It's a good call. Is he the Royals all-star right now?
I like the way he has played, and also Mike Moustakas. Both those guys.
Left side of the infield, yeah.
They've been high on my list.
The other guy that's worth mentioning, and people might say, oh, no, because they saw last night, is Jonathan Broxton. He was 7 for 7 in his last 7 opportunities before last night with a very low ERA.
Well, and like it or not, I know I'm in the minority. I kind of like that they're trying to do something with the All-Star game. I have no problem with the winner declaring home field advantage for the league. Ron Washington probably thinks he's going to go back to the World Series again this year. So late in the game, he's going to want as many good relievers, as many closers as he can get his hands on.
You know, a lot of managers would just as soon go with a couple of starters and a lot of closers. If they can stack up with 5 or 6 closers, they're going to do that to really shorten the game.
And the other side of it is, if you're looking at defense and a guy that can do some things, Alcides Escobar, I mean, there's not anyone that plays a better shortstop. I know there's different metrics and all of that out there, but you can't tell me there's anyone that plays better or significantly better than him.
You know, that'd be fun to manage that game for obvious reasons. You have all the stars, but you can do some things because the roster is so big that you can't do during the regular year. Like Joel said, you could bring in a pinch hitter who can hit, but maybe he's not a great defender, and then you could bring in somebody like Escobar or somebody else to defend for him. And then if that guy comes up again and you don't want him to hit, you can bring in another guy and just keep alternating between glove men and guys who can swing the stick. And right now, Escobar is doing both. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Think back just a year ago, we were talking about maybe pinch hitting for Escobar late in game situations where he could have a hit to drive in a run, and now that's not even a thought this year.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. And this goes back to last year. That was something that Ned Yost had to deal with, some of the criticism he had to deal with. Remember when he did not pinch hit for Alcides Escobar, and Ned more thinking long range, long term, the experience he would get hitting in pressure situations, so that when the Royals would need him later in his career, he has a long-term contract now for 5 years. The Royals are going to need him to produce late in games with runners in scoring position, and he just kind of had to live through the struggles of last year.
Right, he stuck with him, and it's certainly paid off.
And the curve stays high, so Escobar at one point was down 1 ball, 2 strikes, but he'll reach with a walk, and he's been on base all 3 times today. 2 singles, and now the walk. And for Brian Mattis, his first walk allowed today.
Mattis is not good, like most left-handers are, holding runners on, so this might not be a bad opportunity for Alcides Escobar to try to steal second base.
Exposito will go out and visit with Mattis, try and get him back in the strike zone. He was ahead of Escobar 1-2, let him get away, and now ball one to Irving Falou, who is singled and grounded out. Nine for 21, Irving Falou. 2 balls, no strikes. And now another trip from pitching coach Rick Adair, and they begin to stir out in the right field bullpen. Luis Ayala just starting to play catch out in right field. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Brian Lefevre, Jeff Montgomery, Joe Goldberg, with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the rest of our great Fox Sports Kansas City crew on a bright sunny day in Kansas City. Royals trying to finish this 2-game series with a split. We have a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 6th. And Irving Falou grounds it to J.J. Hardy. He'll flip to Andino. And that's the 6th inning. On to the 7th. Royals 3, Orioles 2. Kansas City is brought to you by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. By AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Our game summary: Humberto Quintero, Johnny Giavotella driving in runs for the Royals in a 3-run second inning, and then Luke Hochevar has had 5 scoreless innings out of 6, but in the 4th allowed a 2-run home run to Adam Jones. And now he gets Wilson Betemit, Chris Davis, and Robert Andino. And Hochevar has retired 8 of the last 9 Orioles. Two and one.
Nice to see Humberto Quintero, second game in a row with 2 RBIs from that number 9 slot in the batting order.
Lined into left center field. Alex cuts it off deep, and that holds Betemit to a single. He's 1 for 3.
If we go in the 3rd inning, we're going to see Quintero Hit a ball deep, not quite to the fence, but bounces off the fence for 2 RBIs, and Johnny G going the opposite direction. Going to right for an RBI single. Adam Jones, 2-run shot left center field. The Orioles' second run.
Aaron Crow throws in the Royals bullpen. Luke Hochevar is at 95 pitches. Trying to figure out a way to get Chris Davis out for the first time. Davis has singled up the middle, and he took Hochevar to right field for a single in the 4th. One ball, one strike. Hochevar on Saturday pitched 7 innings against Chicago. On Monday, Bruce Chen pitched 6 2/3 against the Rangers, and last night Felipe Paulino went 7 innings against Baltimore. So the rotation starting to pile up the innings, taking some strain off of the bullpen. Chris Davis is 3 for 3, and Dyson got too close to the ball, and it skips by him and all the way to the wall. Betemeet will score the tying run. Davis is into second base. That'll be a single and an error, and it is 3-3 in the 7th inning.
Yeah, this is a ball that's a tough ball to read. He was going to maybe take a shot at making the catch, but if you don't make the catch, most importantly after that, you have to keep the ball in front of you. And unfortunately, Gerard Dyson played it off to the side, gets past him, rolls all the way to the wall.
So Luke Hochevar comes out. The best he can hope for now is a no decision. A Chevy call to the bullpen as Aaron Crow comes on with a runner at second and nobody out. Then after an error by Gerard Dyson in center field, a run scores. The Orioles tie the game. They knock Luke Hochevar out. Aaron Crow comes in, 18 appearances, which covers 18 innings, 18 strikeouts, so 1 strikeout per inning, and an opponent's batting average of just 161. It'll be Robert Andino who may be asked to bunt with a runner at second base and nobody out. Andino grounded into a double play in the 4th and fly to right in the 2nd.
With Aaron Crow's stuff, he has the ability to strand Chris Davis at second base.
Not bunting, outside to Andino.
Most times pitchers are not looking for a strikeout, but this would be one of the situations where you would love to have a strikeout to not allow the runner to advance to third base.
1-1. Trying to take a shot to the right side. Orioles tied the game at 3 in the 9th inning last night. They do it in the 7th inning today. One and two.
Now you go for the put away pitch. You go for the strikeout here with 2 strikes. Got a lot of count to work with.
And he goes the other way. Francoeur runs it down. Davis is going to tag. Here's the relay from Escobar. And it rolls away from Moustakas. It actually goes up the line. Davis will hold.
Frenchie going back just a little bit, didn't have great momentum. The ball was hit well enough that he couldn't get planted and get his momentum going toward third base to make a stronger throw and possibly have a chance to throw Davis out.
So runner at third and 1 out. The Royals will bring the infield in on the left side and halfway on the right side. And Crow throws a strike to Ryan Flaherty, who's glad to see Hochevar out of the game. Luke struck him out twice, and one of them was a strikeout throw out double play with Chris Davis caught stealing at second base. And a safety squeeze. And Flaherty's going to make Crow come over and tag him out. That's actually a good play by Crow, isn't it, Monty? Because
right,
there's a chance a runner could go when he throws to first base.
Exactly. If you can keep the runner in front of you, always do that.
You wonder if there was maybe a mix-up with the signs there, because Flaherty didn't go running up the line as if he expected, okay, I got the job done, a run's going to score.
Right. Davis did not get a good secondary lead off the on the pitch.
I mean, either way, there's a miss sign. If it was a suicide squeeze, then Davis should be sprinting down the line. If it's a safety squeeze, Davis should be alert that if there's a good bunt, he needs to come down and try and score.
I'm sure we'll learn after the game, but probably a good chance that Flaherty missed a sign or Davis missed a sign at third base.
And 99.9% of the time, if a sign was missed on a squeeze, it's the hitter, because the third base coach will give the sign to the hitter and then walk over and basically tell the runner at third whether a play is on or not.
Right. A lot of times it's a verbal sign at third base for the runner.
He's not going to go over and say, okay, this is a squeeze, you need to be going. There'll be just some sort of a key word that the third baseman cannot share with the defense. Close pitch. Exposito gets away with a walk. So the inning continues, and Exposito just 1 for 12 on the season. He goes down to first.
See the pitcher, it looks like a pretty quality pitch to me. One of those pitches as a pitcher, you certainly want to get that call most of the time anyway.
And now the Royals once again have to be alert for a bunt. And now Davis with 2 outs will be going on any kind of contact. Xavier Avery has grounded out 3 times, and in his last 2 times he grounded back to Hochevar. Two and 0. Jose Mijares getting ready for probably a couple of hitters down the road. Nick Markakis, who right now is in the hole. And now it's 3-0 on Avery with J.J. Hardy on deck. Tough night for the Royals bullpen last night, allowing 4 runs in 8 innings in a 15-inning game. 3-1 on Avery. Prior to that, the Royals bullpen had allowed 3 earned runs in 26 innings. Bases loaded with 2 outs. So Crow comes on. He gets a fly out and a ground out with a bunt, and then walks Exposito and Avery.
Important to get ahead on J.J. Hardy here. You don't want to be pitching behind with the go-ahead run on third base where you have to come back later in the count and make a pitch at the strike zone.
The Royals, Fox Sports Kansas City, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking now. The state of Missouri tobacco quit line is at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. And I think that's what Dave Island said to Aaron Crow after back-to-back walks. Good slider over the outside to J.J. Hardy, who has never faced Aaron Crow. Hardy 0 for 3 today.
May have been a situation where he says, go ahead and start him off with the slider. Your fastball is missing. Get back in that rhythm with that slider.
And back with a fastball right off the knuckle. So 2 excellent pitches by Aaron Crow to get ahead 0-2. Well, it was Hardy who got one of the big hits for the Orioles last night. A 2-out RBI single in the 9th inning to tie the game at 3. And now batting with the bases loaded in a 3-3 tie in the 7th. Quintero saving a run. No swing on appeal to first base umpire Ed Hickox. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I talked yesterday with Orioles hitting coach Jim Presley about the Royals team. What do they see from the Royals pitching staff? And he was very, very complimentary of Aaron Crow, him and Calvin Herrera's arms.
Broken bat and a base hit. So 2 runs will score. Francoeur will play it to third. And now Hardy caught in between first and second. Billy Butler going up to save a high throw from Moustakas. So J.J. Hardy with half a bat singles in 2 runs, and now the Orioles have a 5-3 lead.
I don't think I've seen so many base hits on balls where the bat is flown almost to the pitcher's mound or past the pitcher's mound. Normally you hit the ball and the bat flies halfway out to the outfield. You're going to get an out, but not the case today.
Another Chevy call to the bullpen, and it's Jose Mijares to face Nick Markakis. The Orioles now lead 5-3. And Jose Mijares becomes the third Royals pitcher of the inning. Luke Hochevar started the inning, gave up singles to Bedamit and Davis. Bedamit scored on the Davis single because of an error in center field by Gerard Dyson. So both of those runs charged to Hochevar. He gives up 4 runs in 6 innings. And then Aaron Crow got 2 outs, but then back-to-back walks to Exposito and Avery. And then J.J. Hardy just hit a 2-run single to put the Orioles in front. And now Mijares. It's a fly ball to left field. Alex Gordon makes the play. Markakis is out. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals are down by 2.
Billy Butler is a repeat offender. For the past 3 seasons, Butler has led the Royals in RBIs and has claimed his stake as one of the best young bats in the big leagues. Butler's bat has brought you to your feet. It's time to take the next step to the ballot box. Crown a Royal. Vote Billy Butler to the 2012 All-Star Game in Kansas City.
And Billy has 2 hits today, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs on the year. And you can vote now for all your favorite Royals players. Make sure to punch a ballot when you come out to the ballpark or go to Royals.com/vote to crown a Royal. Royals find themselves down by 2 coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. And they'll be facing Luis Ayala, who has a 192 opponent's batting average in 16 games. And he'll get Humberto Quintero, Gerard Dyson, and Johnny Giavotella.
And Ayala is their primary setup guy, the guy they like to get the ball to before they go to Jim Johnson. Does the ball well. He's got a very deceptive delivery. Got a little bit of a sidearm, kind of short arms the ball.
And it's inside to Quintero, who drove in 2 more runs with a double in the 3rd inning. So he has 4 RBIs in this 2-game series. He grounded out to short in the 4th. Well, the Royals like their chances, I'm sure, based on the way they had been playing before the series. And then the pitchers that they would face in this series. Tommy Hunter, an ERA 5.14. He gave up just 2 runs in 7 innings last night. And now Brian Mattis with a 5.50 ERA. And he goes 6 innings and allows just 3 runs.
Yeah, both pitchers have really surprised, I think, the Royals hitters on the package they presented here at Kauffman Stadium.
Up the middle. Hardy can't get to it, and it's a 2-hit game for Quintero.
A lot of sink, a lot of life. This ball's up. Sinker baller gets the ball up. Hitter's able to see it. Make good contact, good wood. Quintero with his second hit.
Gerard Dyson is 0 for 3 so far. Ayala throws him a strike. Dyson is grounded out twice, both times to the mound, one of them on a bunt attempt, and he is struck out. Oh and 2.
The Royals left-handed batters will be happy to see Brian Mattis out of the game, going 0 for 9 on the day so far.
Still 0 and 2. Luis Ayala is from Mexico. He has pitched in the big leagues with the Expos. Remember them? Then the Nationals. So he was with them when they made the move from Montreal to Washington. He's pitched with the Mets, the Twins, the Marlins, the Yankees, and now the Orioles. Quintero back to first base after the throw from Esposito.
Looking at Esposito. Don't you know I'm a catcher? Take it easy out there.
It was like the 8th inning last night. Remember when, what was it, Troy Patton threw over to first base with Billy Butler taking the tiniest of leads. And that was right before Ned Yost sent Mitch Meyer out to run for Billy Butler. Dyson lines to second, and the throw hit Quintero. So the Royals get a break. Instead of a double play, Quintero's at second. Now, remember, the major league helmets only have one ear flap, and it's the flap that the hitter has facing the pitcher. And Quintero, luckily, was hit on the side where he has an ear flap. Otherwise, the other side is cut away, and that would have hit him right on the ear.
Well, hit right on the button. Quintero does exactly what you should do, going back in, created a distraction for that throw back in, and that time it hits him in the helmet, as you mentioned.
So it's an error by Andino, the second baseman. Ned Yost, Kyle Turner out there to take a look at Humberto, who says, I'm fine. But I'm sure for a moment there his bell was ringing.
I just hope they don't ask him to say the alphabet backwards.
Where are you? I'm at second base. What did you have for breakfast this morning? Well, we had a 15-inning game last night. I didn't have breakfast this morning.
I guess it's easy for us to laugh about it. Sure, it didn't feel very good for the Q-man.
Arizona Diamondbacks in town for a 3-game series beginning tomorrow night. Fox Sports Kansas City on Friday and Sunday. And then Royals will be on Fox Saturday Baseball primetime Saturday night, 6:15 game with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Rex Hudler will be doing that game with Darren Sutton, son of the Hall of Fame pitcher Don Sutton, and Darren, the regular television announcer for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that broadcast team will have the Royals and the Diamondbacks covered. Johnny Giavotella drove in a run with a single in the third inning. It was a 3-run Royals third. They haven't scored since, and meanwhile the Orioles scored 2 in the fourth and 3 in the seventh to take the lead. And Giavotella hits it into left center field, and Avery makes the play. So with that closing speed, able to record the second out. When the ball was hit, there was nobody in left center field, but Jones and Avery were there quickly.
Yeah, they can cover some ground, and that part of the outfield, a couple real good sets of wheels on those guys. Ball sounded better off the bat than it carried. Thought I had a chance maybe getting a gap.
Billy Butler has doubled, his 11th of the year. Tied with Mike Moustakas for second behind Alcides Escobar, who has 12 doubles. And Billy gets his batting average up over 300. He is at 301. And Ayala dropped down a little bit and throws a strike.
Billy Butler, a player that Ron Washington may want to consider for his all-star team as well.
And that'll skip by Exposito and into the netting and allow Quintero to go to third. Now that's a big play because Quintero isn't the fastest Royal. And now Billy Butler gets a base hit to the outfield that should guarantee a run.
Well, Billy has had a way of finding the outfield. Here we see a ground ball up the middle, just out of the arms. Billy also showing some leather out at first base. A couple of nice swipe tags on throws that have been up the line. Be a great time for an RBI single here.
Grounded foul past Eddie Rodriguez, the Royals' third base coach. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Orioles bullpen last night pitched 8 innings in the 15-inning game and allowed only 1 run. Shallow right. It's a long run for 3 Orioles, and Andino can't get to it. It's a foul ball. Still 1-2.
Andino probably the only player that had a chance to catch that ball just out of the outreach of his glove.
Quintero singled, and then Dyson hit a line drive caught by Robert Andino at second base, and then through to first. The Orioles had a good shot at a double play, but the throw hit Quintero and allowed him to go to second. And now Umberto at third because of a wild pitch.
Not that that play should have been made, but oftentimes a pop-up like that falls in gives a hitter a new life. See if Billy can take advantage of the second opportunity at the plate.
Still 1-2. Billy at first base today, and if you weren't with us earlier, looks like he'll be at first base again tomorrow night against the Diamondbacks with lefty Joe Saunders on the mound. Had Yost saying before the game today he really wants to give Eric Hosmer a couple of days off. Another foul ball.
Billy doing a nice job staying alive in this at bat, seeing a lot of pitches.
Ayala shaking his head, nodding, sticking his chin up in the air.
Not sure which sinker to throw.
Two balls, two strikes.
Billy unable to drive in the go-ahead run here, but he is first in the American League with 10 go-ahead RBIs this year, so it'd be nice to see him at least with one maybe here.
And he leads the Royals with 27 RBIs altogether. And that total is the 5th highest in the American League. Quintero at third base with 2 outs. And Billy hits it to the right side. Randino picks it up, throws him out. The Royals leave Quintero at third. And at the end of 7 innings, Baltimore leads the Royals 5-3.
Here at Kauffman Stadium. Panera takes us around the league, and we take a look at some day baseball. Seattle scored 1 in the top of the 11th, but Cleveland, Carlos Santana, walk-off fashion, they win at 6-5. Minnesota beats Detroit. Again, Tigers really struggling. Texas on top of Oakland, 4-3, a pair of home runs for Mitch Moreland in that game down in Arlington. Couple others to talk about as Chicago and LA just underway. New York, Toronto, Boston, and Tampa Bay all playing tonight. So that's where we stand with the American League. And as far as the AL Central and the standings, we've got Brian Pena coming into the game, and the standings show us that Cleveland continues to hang on to first base. Detroit, a surprise, 2 games under 500. Then it's Chicago, Kansas City, and Minnesota way back, but giving Detroit a hard time. Is that Ryan?
All right, Joel, and Cleveland now 6 games above 500, and they are also very good in one-run games, and they won another one today. They are 9-1 in those games, and it always seems that is a statistic every year that separates good teams from bad teams. Not just the overall record, but the good teams win the close ones, and the bad teams are always coming up a buck or two short.
Some teams find a way to win, some teams find a way to lose. And that's one of the things I've been impressed with as of late with the Royals. They've won more of the one-run games than they've lost. And early in the year, I think they started 0-6 in one-run games, and they hit a spell when they won 4 in a row on the one-run game. So it was really good to see them find ways to win instead of find ways to lose.
And that streak was snapped last night in the 4-3 loss after winning 4 straight one-run games, thanks to this guy, Adam Jones, who homered in the 15th inning against Nate Adcock last night, and he hit a 2-run home run against Luke Hochevar in the 4th inning today. 1 for 2 overall. Hochevar ended up striking him out in the 6th. Jones, Wilson Betemit, and Chris Davis coming up. And nobody warming up in the Royals bullpen, so this is Maharis's inning. Came on with 2 outs in the 7th inning and get a Nick Markakis on a fly ball to left field. Two and one. Jones runs well. He's not a big stolen base guy, but has good speed, and that's another weapon for him, especially here leading off an inning with the infield back. Drop down a bunt, get on base for Betemit and Davis. 3 and 1. Moustakas plays it off to his left side. Low throw, but Billy handles it. 1 away in the 8th.
Good way to start out this inning here, getting Adam Jones ground out. He's done a lot of damage with the bat during this 2-game set. Home run in the 15th last night. Here we are in the 4th inning today. A 2-run blast.
School day at the K, and thanks to several area school kids coming out. Attendance of over 31,000 on a beautiful, bright, sunny day in Kansas City. One and one to Wilson Betemit. Betemit singled and scored in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3. Two and one. Again, Moustakas over to Butler and 2 down. While we have a moment, we want to send out our best wishes to a longtime loyal Royals fan, Dr. James Carruthers, who is the father of our longtime stage manager, Doc Carruthers. Now, we call Doc because his father's a doctor, his wife's a doctor. He's not a doctor, but he has the nickname Doc. Well, anyway, his dad is recuperating at KU Med Center after heart valve surgery. Want to send our best wishes to him and hoping for a Royals comeback as they are down by 2 into the bottom of the 8th inning.
at Kauffman Stadium as we get ready for the bottom of the 8th. And after the game, Jeff Montgomery joins me for Boulevard Royals Live out in Rivals. Going to break down Luke Hochaver's start. Talk with Monty about that. Take a look back at the highlights, reaction from Ned Yost, and get you ready for the first set of interleague play games. Miguel Montero, Lyle Overbay and company set to come here to Kauffman Stadium. We'll preview the Royals and Diamondbacks after the game, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. As the Diamondbacks make another pitching change, it's Pedro Strop, another pitcher throwing well in the Orioles bullpen. 16 games, 1.29 ERA, 152 opponent's batting average. And in 21 innings, he has struck out 19, but he has walked 10. And here's a hitter right here with a very good eye, Alex Gordon, 0 for 3 today. Jeff Francoeur and Mike Moustakas will follow. Strop in relief of Luis Ayala, who allowed a leadoff single in the 7th inning, but worked around that and an error to hold the Royals scoreless. The first 6 innings pitched by Brian Mattis, who's the pitcher of record, and he gave up 3 runs on 7 hits.
You mentioned that Strop has a tendency to be a little wild at times, but over his last 9 appearances, Strop has worked 11 scoreless innings, so he's been very effective and on a roll as of late.
2-1 to Alex, who has faced Strop once and walked. And now 3 balls and 1 strike. Strop first was an infielder in the Colorado Rockies system, signed in 2002, but he hit just .212 in his first 4 professional seasons. So the Rockies moved him to the bullpen in 06, and then he got to the big leagues in 09 with the Texas Rangers. 1 away in the 8th inning, and now Strop will get Jeff Francoeur.
Strop very athletic, a lot of raw talent. As you can tell, his arm has got a mid to upper 90s fastball with good life. So maybe not quite a complete pitcher yet, but certainly has the tools to be a quality arm out of the bullpen.
Jeff Francoeur has grounded out 3 times. And Francoeur has faced Strop once before today, and he walked. 2-0.
See, that fastball went at 97, so he certainly has a live arm.
Two balls, 1 strike. Royals got 3 in the bottom of the 3rd against Brian Mattis, and they haven't scored since. They had a 3-0 lead. Orioles got 2 in the 4th and 3 in the 7th. On the ground to Davis, who flips it quickly to Strop, which gives him a few strides to find the bag. And that's a 4th ground out for Francoeur today.
Need some base runners, Ryan. Don't have a shot, down to 4 outs. Got to get some base runners, make some things happen.
And it's been a very rare day lately where Mike Moustakas hasn't been on base at least once. 0 for 3 today. He has that streak of 23 games in a row of reaching with a hit, a walk, or being hit by a pitch, and that's the longest current streak in the American League. And Strop misses low, ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Shot from the Royals Hall of Fame out in left field. On the corner at 97, 2-1. 2-2. The Royals have gone 7 straight series with either a winning series or a split. And they've lost game 1 here with Baltimore, and this is the final game. There's Lewis Coleman, who was just called up from AAA Omaha, getting ready for the top of the 9th. Andino, good backhand play, and he throws out Moustakas, and we head to the 9th inning with Baltimore still in front, 5-3. TNT Uverse reverse replay.
Gerard Dysinger unable to keep the ball in front of him on the base hit. Ends up leading to a run. More runs here following.
J.J. Hardy with his bat cut in 2, driving in 2 runs. And now Lewis Coleman called back up from AAA Omaha. The Royals sending down Nate Adcock and Vin Mazzaro before the game today, and calling up Coleman and Everett Tiefert.
Been a busy highway, I-29 between Omaha and Kansas City as of late. You guys in the bullpen, a lot of activity, especially when the starting pitchers were not getting deep enough, requiring 3 long relief guys.
And then Ned Yost gets 7 innings out of his starter last night, and he still has to use the long guy. Moustakas and Escobar into foul ground, and Escobar retires Robert Andino, who is 0 for 4. Royals got 6 innings from Luke Hochaver. He allowed 4 runs, 7 hits, and one of those runs came around to score after he was out. Aaron Crow gave up a run in 2/3. Jose Majares an inning and a third scoreless. And now Coleman. Ryan Flaherty has struck out twice and grounded out with a bunt. Two and 0. And now Butler in foul ground. And it was a difficult play because of the wind, but he retires Ryan Flaherty, and he's 0 for 4. You have the sun and the wind to deal with.
Billy saying nothing to it here. Just hit it. I'll catch it. Anyone can do this. Tough play for Billy. Day game, high sky, a lot of wind.
Exposito takes a strike, 0 for 2 with a walk, and that was a big walk in the 7th inning. A run was home. Runners at first and third after Exposito walked, the number 9 hitter who is just 1 for 12 this year, followed by a walk to Xavier Avery, and that loaded the bases. And then J.J. Hardy with the replay we just showed you, his bat breaking in half on a pitch from Aaron Crow, but getting it out into right field and driving in 2, and that put the Orioles in front 5-3. Two and two.
Joel and I had Luis Coleman on the pregame today, talked to him a little bit. He had the opportunity to make one start while he was in Omaha, and they were actually going to build up his pitch count as they go, but the not emergency, but the quick call up today had a little change of plans.
Good pitch over the outside and a good inning for Coleman. Last chance for the Royals. Down by 2 with Escobar, Falou, and Pena coming up. Kansas City area school kids among the 31,076 here today, and hoping to cheer the Royals on to a comeback as they're down by 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Royals have not scored since a 3-run 3rd inning, and if they score, they'll have to do it against the Orioles closer Jim Johnson, who saved his 13th in a row this year, and going back to last year, he has 21 saves in a row.
Yeah, he's been very solid, a guy that they've been very happy with the performance. He's just been nailed. You look at the opponent's batting average against her at 164, so he's done a great job both against left-handers and right-handed batters.
Alcides Escobar working on a perfect day. He has 2 infield singles and a walk. He has scored 1 of the 3 runs. Humberto Quintero drove in 2. Johnny Giavotella 1 in the Royals' 3-run 2nd inning. Baltimore got 2 in the 4th on an Adam Jones home run, and then 3 in the 7th. And in that inning, 1 run scoring on an error by Dyson in center field, and 2 others on a 2-out broken bat RBI single from J.J. Hardy. Little high. 2-1 on Escobar. Escobar did not face Johnson when he picked up his 13th save last night. Shallow right center, and Andino runs it down. Got a good jump. One down in the ninth.
Andino's been very impressive with the glove out of second base during this short 2-game set.
You know, they're just playing very well. I mean, everything is just solid across the board. Their defense has been a struggle this year as far as errors go. They have another error today, so that's 38 errors in 39 games, which is a high number, but they haven't had a back-breaking error in the 2 games. A couple of come-from-behind efforts. Adam Jones having an all-star caliber season again like he did in 2009. And the Orioles, if they can hang on, they would go to 11 games above 500. Chris Davis has a 3-hit game. J.J. Hardy, big hits in the last 2 games. And now Hardy, the best he can do is let it roll into his glove. So the play by Andino is a big one because the Royals could have 2 on with nobody out. Another hit for Irving Falou and another multi-hit game for Falou. He's 2 for 4.
Irving Falou just keeps finding a way to reach base. Very happy for the way he has responded to his opportunity, and today starting for the first time at second base. So nice game for Irving Falou.
Brian Pena hits for the first time. Bounces it toward Davis. He'll just run to the line, tag out Brian. And Falou moves up to second base. Quintero started the game and then came out before the top of the 8th inning. And Humberto, after a single in the 7th inning, was hit on the helmet by a throw from second baseman Andino on a double play attempt. Quintero stayed in that inning as a base runner, but Brian Pena took over in the top of the 8th. Gerard Dyson, 2 ground outs, a line out, and a strikeout. Even before today's game, the Orioles had the best road record in the major leagues. 12-5. They have won 6 in a row away from Camden Yards.
They've done a nice job on finding ways to come from behind and win a lot of ball games too.
Well, the Royals are down to their last strike. The Orioles have played very well in extra innings away from home, winning last night 5-0 in extra innings. Adam Jones had the go-ahead home run in the 15th inning, and they've already played 3 games of more than 13 innings away from home, and they've won all 3. Meanwhile, the Royals are still trying to figure out what to do here at home. They are just 4-14 at Kauffman Stadium, and that's the major league's worst home record. Dyson still alive at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Obviously, the 0 for 10 to start the season at home is going to put a huge dent in that for the remainder of the season. But when they had the series, the last homestand against the Yankees where they split, and then they beat the Red Sox 2 out of 3, kind of thought, well, maybe they're going to get some life at home. And unfortunately, it has not worked out here in this short set against the Orioles.
Dyson swings and misses and strikes out, and the Royals are swept in 2 games as the Baltimore Orioles continue to surprise. 25-14 in first place in the American League East, and that's 14 straight saves for Jim Johnson. And the Orioles have really chewed up teams in the American League Central. They are 8-1 now against Central teams. So they will head to Washington to play the Nationals. The Royals will get ready for the Diamondbacks. 5-3 Orioles. We'll be right back.